There's a bug right now that causes Ramattra's ult to disappear into thin air, so we spent some time experimenting on what in tarnations is going on.
A few moments later.
It turns out if you punch ult and shift at the same time as Nemesis form ends, it causes both ult and Nemesis form to get cancelled, or at least that's what it seems like. You can see the grape juice spill onto your screen, but it doesn't target any enemies and you get stuck in Omnic form while Nemesis form enters a cooldown. Normally, you cannot cancel Ramattra's Nemesis form immediately because there is a safety net built into the game, which prevents you from cancelling an ability during the animation, so you have around 1 second of leeway to accidentally press an ability twice without the input being registered. But the Overwatch 2 engine seems to struggle with simultaneous inputs and improperly handles the order of operations for concurrent inputs. In this case, punching as the Nemesis form timer runs out forces the game to register the input in order to let the final punch go through, causing Ramattra's state to remain in Nemesis form despite the cooldown being technically over. When you press ult and shift in this split-second period, the ult gets activated, but because the player's state is still registered to be in Nemesis form, the game allows the player to register the shift key's input, returning you back to Omnic form. The visual animation for the ability continues, allowing the grape to appear above your head, but because Annihilation's entity is tied to Nemesis form, it isn't able to instantiate into the game, and remains hidden away. With no actual entity allowing a line of sight check, the ultimate is not able to target any players, which prevents the ability from extending the timer, dissipating away with a default ultimate duration. It's similar to the Zarya bug we previously covered, which causes ally bubbles to disappear when used immediately as the cooldown timer returns while flicking. In Zarya's case, her barrier cooldown appears to be a single instance which can either be placed on yourself or an ally, but in reality, there are two different cooldowns for the self and ally bubble. When either ability is used, the counter for self bubble is subtracted first, then the counter for ally bubble is subtracted after. But interestingly, whether an ability input from Zarya can be accepted or not is only dependent on the self bubble count, and not the count of the ally bubble. And thus, when the barrier cooldown returns from 0 to 1, the self bubble count is updated first, allowing you to register the input for ally barrier before it actually becomes available, causing no barrier to be casted in the game, but the counter is subtracted anyway as a result of the accepted input. And no, the Zarya bug has not been fixed, but the good news is that the Kiriko's movement speed bug has been patched, so who knows, maybe Blizzard devs are watching the channel and these bugs will be fixed soon as well.